Hey, Team Happy and Fit. Sarah and I love you guys so much. We're so thankful to have you on our team. Sarah and I just have this vision for what we want and how we want to be as leaders and what we want to provide for you. And we truly believe that you all are capable of so much. And our team motto is success is not above you. We truly believe that there's enough for everyone. And what's really cool is that we have our friend Darla on here, which I'm so stoked. You guys notice on Team Rockstar Fit, they always do the Success Club board, like top 10, whatever. She's on it, always. Like, she's always on it. She's always crushing it. And it's just amazing to learn from other people. So she's on the same bigger team than us, but not directly on Team Happy and Fit. And I know she loves Team Happy and Fit, and we've talked to her a lot about it. We collaborate, and I was like, you gotta speak for us. Like, you gotta share with us what's going on, and give us all your crazy secrets. And I'm sure when she starts talking, you're gonna be like, dang, that's everything I already do. So she'll give you a lot of confidence with that. Sister, so happy to have you on. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, and let's get this party rocking and rolling. Thanks for being on tonight.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how excited and proud I am to be able to share with your team. Like, I got real quiet. I got my LaCroix. I closed my eyes to say a little prayer, and I prayed to stay calm, because sometimes you start to get nervous and start talking real fast, and my hands start moving, and I think, put your hands down. And, I just completely lose my focus. But my prayer was to serve your team with a fraction of the amount you've served my team. You're always so giving with tools. So I hope that I can impart something that just creates that little inch space that somebody needs to take a next step or to have the next action. I also know from being on calls with you that you are insane in that chat box. And that is so distracting to me to have to worry about feeling like, am I supposed to be reading that? Are they talking about spinach in my teeth or what? So in the interest of me providing the best, I am not going to look at that while I'm talking. And at the end, if there's questions or you guys are dropping them as you go, I'll definitely review or let Julianne tell me anything that I might need to pay attention to. So, hi. Darla H. I live in Kansas City, Missouri, not to be confused with Kansas, which I do not live in. I am the wife of a TAC officer, which that's what it's called in our area. You might know him as a SWAT officer. My husband's in a specialized unit. He's deputized. He can go all over the place. So anytime anything big happens in any surrounding area, he's gone. So he might be home at 5, or he might be home on Thursday. So that just kind of is never, he'll be home to do bedtimes or whatever. It can be a real strain in our schedule. And frankly, this is just an aside. I think the reason we have such a good marriage is that when he went to that unit is when I started my Beachbody career, or else I think I would be pretty resentful of him. Yes, he's out in drug houses and busting hookers and working in the snow and the ice, but he's not dealing with children every night. And I long for crack whores sometimes, right? So I just thought I would kind of make that tie. It really is a nice outlet to be able to connect with other women and have something that's for yourself when you're dealing with somebody who's traveling a lot or out of town or has a really demanding job, so that you don't have those resentments. I am a personal trainer and an aerobics instructor. I came by those careers sort of as a default. I went to school to be a teacher. I loved working in the restaurant industry, and so I actually didn't end up graduating with my teaching degrees because I left to go be an assistant manager, bartender at a restaurant. I then worked as a preschool teacher, and the school closed, and all of a sudden it's a recession. I'm pregnant. We just moved 45 minutes away, have a huge house payment, and I don't have a job, and no one's hiring a pregnant, non-degreed teacher in the recession. So life was tough and scary and dark, and I was in a really small, angry place, kind of fell backward into teaching an aerobics class, and loved fitness. I loved the community it gave me in the new town that I lived in. I had worked out for a long time, but I'd never seen strength in myself. Anytime I'd gone and worked out before, it was literally like punching a clock. Like, 30 minutes. That's what the ADA recommends. I'm out. I never saw progression. I was only just tromping on a treadmill to be able to eat and drink, not to actually feel any strength or see any gains there. So when I started in this aerobics class, I actually started seeing what fitness can do. I was feeling strong. I was feeling confident. I was connecting with people. And when I was offered to be a sub teaching classes there, that was just an answer to prayer, both financially, for the community that it added to me. And then, just even that $20 a couple times a week was huge blessing for my family. It's where I met my upline sponsor coach. She asked me if I was interested in selling Shakeology. Coincidentally, my sister is a dietitian, and I had people in my aerobics class coming up to me like, what protein shake do you recommend? And I didn't know, I wasn't into that, but I definitely wanted to be right. So I asked my dietitian sister to look at some labels and tell me which one was the best. I didn't even know that you had to sign up to Shell Shake. I didn't know it wasn't in Walmart. I just didn't know anything, but it was one of the labels I sent her, and she was like, dude, this is amazing stuff. This is whole food nutrition. This is really legit. I'm going to look into getting some myself. I was like, great. Okay. So that's what I'll tell people. And then my then coach, who was another trainer in the area, said, hey, do you want to sign up to sell Shakeology, and we can run groups together, in-person groups? This is before challenge groups and challenge packs even existed 6 years ago. I said, sure. I had already heard that was the best thing on the market. And I ran a couple of 10-day groups where I scooped things out, and then 2 years went by and I didn't do anything at all. She adopted, my coach adopted some kids from Africa and became obviously sidetracked with all that does to your life. And my business just sat there and it didn't do anything. I'm going to stop my story right there, and I'm going to backtrack or I guess fast forward a little bit. Today, I received an email from my daughter's teacher. She sends these great things called Benson Bites, 3 little questions for you to ask your kids every day. So that instead of saying, what'd you learn in school today? Nothing. You have some really specific questions to ask. Ask them how they did on their math comp test, or, what funny thing happened at recess today. And today she said, ask them if they know the definition to 2 vocab words. And here's what those words were: buoyant and abundance. And I thought, man, if we can just get that right, if we can really get that, buoyant means apt to float, right? Can you stay afloat? And abundance means belief that there is enough, plenty, okay? So if we can really get that, on a really deep, true level, I think that we become winners. And I also have to give just a tiny pat on my back to identify those 2 random vocab words as a PD lesson. I think really speaks to me knowing myself and how far I've come in my journey. So cutting back to where I was as a coach, signed up 6 years ago, but it's 4 years ago now. And we're still financially strapped. A friend of mine, I had turned on to teaching aerobics, and she starts her own Saturday morning boot camp, which I also run. We have a lot of the same friends. And you guys, I got angry. I got real angry. How dare she? I turned her on to teaching aerobics classes. I mentored her. I showed her how to do things. I helped her get a job at the community center. I let her borrow my book to get certified. And she's going to run a Saturday morning boot camp at the exact same time and in the general area where I'm running mine. She is dead to me hard. And we didn't speak for months until I had a come to Jesus moment, and I realized I'm shutting her out. I'm willing to sacrifice our friendship. And all these months have gone by, and I still have a solid boot camp. She didn't put me out of business. There is enough. There is an abundance. And if I don't step forward to her and share to her this one tool that I've held back, then I'm no better than somebody else I was kind of having a personal issue with at that time. So I got on the phone with her, and I don't know what in the I said, because I didn't know anything. But I was like, I sell Shakeology, kind of, or I could, and I do. And once I did, and I scooped things out, and do you want to do that? And as you can imagine, she was like, what? But the point is, I was willing to lay at the altar of her the one thing that I had held back, the one piece to build her business that I hadn't shared with her yet. And by me doing that, it opened a can of worms I didn't even know existed. Because then we talked, and she asked questions, and I didn't know the questions, so I had to get online and try and answer the questions so I could respond to her. And she signed up. And I would fail me all day long. Like I'm a super lovable loser. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I'm late. Haha. I don't know. Oh, that's cool for me, but I wouldn't fail her. So she signed up to be a coach. This is me just serving her. But in that scope, as she asked me questions and we started diving into things, I was learning just enough to teach her. I was running just a step ahead of her, right? Then another friend asked about it and another friend. And all of a sudden, I'm Emerald. Beachbody has sent me something in the mail. I've earned a pin. That's awesome. I didn't even know what it was. I had no mentorship, no training. I wasn't in a large team page. All I know is that I had to grow myself enough to lay something down, and it taught me abundance, and it opened this business for me. So if you can embrace that, if you can view that, if you can know that there is abundance, that there's plenty of Success Club points, that there's plenty of people, that there's no overlap, that there's plenty of Premier and Elite and 15-star Diamond or whatever you want titles, then I think that you won't hold yourself in reserve or keep yourself from really stepping into that next level, levels you don't even know exist, just as I didn't know what I was getting into with Lana by inviting Lana. Okay, let's take this into Success Club a little bit. I didn't have any mentorship. I wasn't in a team. I didn't know what Success Club was. I was just having conversations. I was excited. I was real excited. Lana joined me and I started drinking Shakeology legitimately every day for a couple of weeks, and it did what it does. Like instead of me coming home and napping, like literally feeding my kids the goldfish that I found on the floorboard of the car, like here, as we're driving home from my workout classes, putting them to sleep and falling asleep on my bed in my sweaty clothes, I had energy. I had these 2 hours of nap time that I could eat a salad. I could watch The View. Life was good. Things were going well for me. And it was so easy to share. So I think that's a really important piece. When somebody's struggling, that's the first place to start is, are you doing these things? Are you being a product of the product? Because when you are, it's really easy to get jazzed about it. So I'm jazzed and I'm sharing. And I think Beachbody is like gonna probably go out of business because they keep mailing me stuff that I didn't order. A stability ball, an agility ladder, a tank top. I'm like, good freaking gracious. I better be selling these challenge packs while I can because they're going to go under any minute. I was hitting Success Club every month and I had no idea that Success Club was even a thing. They were prizes that they were sending. All's well. I think Beachbody's doing okay. So before I knew it, Ashley Mahaffey, who's my upline Star Diamond, reached down to me and she was like, you're killing it. You're on the Success Club boards every month. I was like, oh, I am? Well, I've never done anything like that before. I've never been the best or the top or the one or had a streak of anything except for maybe being the latest in my life. So I was committed. I had 3 or 4 months of Success Club under my belt before I knew what Success Club was. So I didn't want to lose that. I heard there was a title. I thought, that sounds great. How many other titles? I'm going to go for it. So I committed to hitting Success Club 5. And, some months it was a little bit tougher. I was at the end of the month and I was consciously having to think, I'm going to make this happen. This will happen. I won't watch this TV show. I won't be out doing this. I will stay in until I get that done. And then one month I hit Success Club early in the month, like the 4th or the 5th. And I thought, that is way better. That feels much nicer than worrying about it on the 28th or the 29th. I'm going to do that every month. Instead of hitting Success Club 5 on the 29th, I'm going to hit Success Club 5 on the 5th. And then anything else that happens in the month can be gravy. So that's what I started doing. And I started regularly hitting 7, 9, 8. This is back in the olden days when you could still get 1 point for Shakeology, so you could actually get an odd number of points. And then New Year's resolutions came along, and I said out loud, and I wanted to vomit, I'm going to hit 10 every month. See, I didn't really believe in abundance, but I said it, and it scared me. And I've heard that stupid pink and gold, if your dreams aren't big enough to make you scared, then they're not big enough, blah. So I thought, fine, that'll be my goal. And that was 42 months ago. and I've just hit 10 or more likely 20 every month since then, because my goal is to hit 5 by the 5th. I know when I'm going to have my posts. I've got it all structured out. I hit my 5, and then I just let that compound. It's once you do it, it's not that hard to do it every single week. I don't get stressed. As long as I hit 10, I'm cool. I'm not always shooting for 20, but it's what happens when you just repeat the behaviors. It's a wash, rinse, repeat business, as I learned from Julianne. Okay, I'll go on to some of my Success Club practices in a second, but I just want to go back to being buoyant. I have learned in my 6 years as a coach, 4 years as a working coach, a lot of success here in every way, in business, in fitness, in nutrition, is just not quitting. Like, if you can win the race, if you're the only one still racing, like, remember that rat race? I didn't know I was going to tie this in. Remember with Mr. Bean and all those people, like he wins because everybody else gets sidetracked and does all these other things. Does he win? I don't know if he wins. I'm going to stop using that analogy because I don't know if I'm right or not. But, the guy that falls asleep, like, comes into the home stretch because he just doesn't quit. He doesn't get tripped up. He doesn't get sidetracked. Even though he's super slow, he just doesn't stop. So I believe that staying consistent in social media is critical to keeping yourself afloat, to staying buoyant. This is a super personal decision for people. It's not just like picking out the new hot fall lip gloss color. It's about something that many people have struggled with for their entire lives, or for the first time in their life, and they're scared and they don't know what that means. So extending your hand to help them stay afloat is a really big deal. And people, whether they're conscious of it or not, they need to know that you're going to be there time and time and time again for them. And then not giving up when you hit your wall. See, this business is designed so you can only go as far as you grow. So if you're super awesome right now, you probably started off pretty strong. People probably joined you. You're probably Emerald or Plus. Things are going great. But if you're not doing that vital behavior, that personal development, you're going to hit your wall. You will cap. You cannot go further. So do you want to work until you hit the wall, hit a dry spell, panic, cry, call your upline coach, sort through everything, pull out a tracker, realize it's the PD you're not doing, do the PD, grow a little bit, elevate yourself a little bit, and then allow people to follow you again? Or would you like to stay ahead of that curve by continuing with that PD all of the time? And I will say this. You hear PD. And I don't think there's any wrong PD, but I do think that your PD is as important as the program that you select to work out in, right? If someone's coming to me with a bad knee, I'm not like, you know what you should probably do? Run a marathon. I think that sounds like a really, really good way to handle that spare tire you also mentioned you want to get away with. You've got to put all the pieces together. So if your PD issue is time management, you just can't find any more time, then, figure out how to be a weapon with the time that you have. Time management needs to be what you focus on. If falling on and off the wagon is an issue for you, or staying consistent, then specialize your PD in that. Find what serves you so that you are taking yourself to the next level. I love me some Chalene Johnson. I mean, are you kidding? Look at my veins. Like, I'm basically trying to be her right now. But I feel like her PD is only so deep. It's very entertainment value. And I love her and I listen to her when I'm in the grocery store. But you need to go deeper than a talk show with your PD if you're really going to invoke change in your being. So don't kick her out of your podcast list, but please think about what else you need to really advance yourself. Okay, and then taking your self-care, to the number one position is the most important. I mean, it is not more valuable for you to come up with a new training or to do an amazing, beautiful, filtered post. And I'm not really joking about that. I do think those things are super important. That's not more important, though, than you getting your workout in. So if you have 30 minutes in a day, it should be spent doing the things that you want your challengers and your coaches to be doing as well. If they had a video camera on your house or on your day, what would they see, and would it be what you want them to be doing with the same amount of time? Because how we do anything is how we do everything. Okay, and then lastly, if all of these things fail, if you're not constant in social media, if you're not constant in your own journey, if you're not continuing to grow yourself, still just not quitting is success. Success here is gained when you just don't stop. Okay. I'm such a choppy presenter. Now I'm going to talk about Success Club a little bit, right? That's, oh yeah, awesome. I'd like to hit Success Club 20s or 10s reliably. How do you do that? Here's how I do it. I don't go until I've hit Success Club. So I would never say ever, my November challenge date is blah, 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 blah. I don't have any idea when my November challenge date is. I know I'll run a group in November, but I don't know when it is because I don't know when I hit Success Club. I don't drive the Success Club bus until I've hit Success Club. I feel like that's what burns so many newer, younger, eager and excited and diligent and awesome coaches out. They sell 1 or 2 challenge packs in September. And then they keep running groups, even though they don't add new people, for those dusty ass people that joined in September and canceled their Shakeology 2 weeks later. I'm all about the service, but your time has got to be worth something. I have a group when I have Success Club. One way that I have learned that I can kind of finagle this a little bit, right, is I can pull out my calendar. I know that I have really good luck doing a Sunday night post about joining a challenge group, and then a Monday after school post. So that's my formula every single month. So I can look at November and I can see that a super solid Monday to start would be the 6th. That can be what I'd like as my start date. That can be what I'm gearing for, right? You don't know you're off track unless you know where you're going. So that could be where I'm aiming, which means I'm going to look and I'm going to see that in October, that Sunday night is going to be the 29th. So I'm going to know I'm going to make a call to action post on that 29th. Oh, and look at that. Halloween comes around. People feel like shit the day after Halloween. So I'm for sure going to talk to them on that Wednesday morning, right? So if people are ordering on Wednesday, they're not going to have their stuff in time to really start on the 6th. So maybe what I'll do is I will call the 8th my start date. And that'll be my prep time. So my hard start is on the 13th. Now, if I don't have people really, really going on the 29th and on the 30th first, if I haven't had conversations, if people aren't asking for links, if those things aren't going well, then I'm going to push it even further. But I'm not ever going to go until my ride is full. I just went to Disney, which I love. Oh my gosh. And you get on a bus, right? And it takes you to your hotel. So we get on this bus and we're like the only family on it. And we're like, sweet. We're not going to have to take any other stops. We're just going to go right to our hotel. No, they wait. They don't drive a Disney bus for one family. They wait until other families get on. So I thought, well played, Disney. I do the same thing. I don't go until more show. So a way to kind of round this out is to add that prep week. So people are in the group even though your 21 days haven't started. So here's what the structure of my groups look like. Okay, week 1, which might be a full prep week, or I add people on Wednesday and we start on Monday. It just kind of depends on how my Success Club points are lining up, okay? It's a ready, set, go kind of mentality. What can you clean out of your pantry? Here's the grocery list that you're going to need. Are you prepared to make some hard choice? Like just like stuff, setting up their mind space, setting up their workout space. Do you need to get some weights? What weights do you need? What program are you going to do? That kind of thing. I also, the Sunday before, so we're starting on Monday, so the day before, I make a video and I'm very clear about the expectations. I'll be honest, this one that I'm in right now, 4 years, 43 months of running challenge groups, I didn't make one because I thought, everybody kind of knows now, right? Like I got 40 people in my group, 35 of them have done previous challenges. They're going to kind of teach the new people what we do, but they don't. So I think this is really important. You've got to let them know what your expectations are. My expectations are this, that on Sunday before we begin, you take a picture, your measurements, your scale, and then you don't talk to me about that again until day 22. I say that you need to check in every 3 days, that I understand that people are busy, that when day might go by, it's parent-teacher conferences, like blah, 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 blah. Got it. I'm busy. I understand that there might be a day or two that you're not in the app, but even Jesus checked in on the third day, so I feel like you probably can too. I also ask them to connect on a morning call to action post, an evening, nightly tracker check-in. So they just screenshot their tracker. So when they say, oh my God, I gained 4 pounds, Shakeology is the worst, I can pull it up and I can be like, also, remember those 12 yellows you had on Thursday? That might be it. That way I've got actual data to help them with what they're struggling with. You know, I'm really hungry. I'm finding this, I'm hungry on this program. And I go, oh, wait, listen, you're only getting 2.5 of your proteins. Like, you've got to have more food in there. Like, it gives me the data I need to actually be able to coach them. Plus, it's a super easy way. I don't have to make 21 graphics that say happy or fit or sweat or poop or, you know, whatever crazy thing that I would come up with for an acronym every month. So I'm super clear about those expectations. All right. All right. Week 1, it's all me feeding them. What are my deliverables? I start real easy. Day 1, we're introducing each other. I usually do something like share the last picture on your phone, because I think it's really, you know, fun to kind of just get a glimpse into them. I've do an introduction like it's a fairy tale, like tell me a fairy tale story, like just kind of mix it up a little bit. Day 2, usually something super fluffy, like how are you drinking your water today? Everything's brand new and shiny for the first 3 days. Like, people are like, oh my God, I don't even need food. This is amazing. I could just snort Shakeology. I've never been happier. This is so great. And then day 4, everyone's a troll and they're pissed and they're hungry and they're sore and they're mad. They want to know what the return link is. Like, so I have to know that that's coming, right? So day 3, I ask them about their why. Like, why are you here? So when stuff's hard on day 4 and they're not in it as much, I can connect them right back to that. Well, you said you wanted to be an active parent, right? That you didn't want to be a sideline parent. That's one of my favorite. I don't want to be a sideline mom anymore. I want to be in the game with my kids. So I try and draw upon that before they hit this hard day 4. I also ask them not to drink alcohol their first week. So you're not invested enough. You've got too little to lose here. You don't care. You're like, it's 4 days. Who gives a shit? Let's bring on the booze. I ask them not to drink their first weekend. And then the second weekend, absolutely. You have those substitutions, make use of them. I want you to figure out how to fold this into your life. And if that's part of your life, cool. We're here to help you navigate through that. But I'd like for you to have, just like me with the Success Club in the few months, that streak, that winning, that success, so that you're a little more invested before you'll just throw it to the wind with a late night Taco Bell run. All right. Week 1, me giving to them. Here's some of my favorite recipes. Here's how I make Shakeology. Here's a Shakeology video. Week 2, they don't know it, but now they're in charge. Week 2 is me empowering them. Tonight, I want you to share with me your favorite Shakeology hack. How many ice cubes are you using? Are you using real milk or almond milk? Have you bought an extracts? Are you adding nuts? When do you zip it? I'm asking them to teach me about Shakeology. I also do a fun one, not this week. I'll get to it, but I don't want to forget it. Where I say, listen, Shakeology is not cheap. Like, I get it. I know that it's a financial investment for anyone. I want you to know why it's worth it. So pick an ingredient, any ingredient that you want, right? I don't recognize any of those words, and I've always heard that was kind of a bad thing, right? If you can't pronounce it, then don't eat it. Well, I can say literally none of those words. So I want you to grab an ingredient, anyone, first one, 5th one, 20th one, and I want you to Google it, and I want you to tell us what it does and how it helps us. I want you to see what you're investing your money on. And so they all do that. I ask them to go to Pinterest or the Beachbody blog and share a new recipe or a favorite recipe. I ask them, I'll post a couple, a meal for the day, a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, and a snack, and I'll ask them to break it down into containers. Okay, so that breakfast is eggs and a piece of toast. Okay, so that's one yellow and one red, and go from there, right? Sometimes I do pop quizzes during the day where I'll say something like, I literally can't think of one kind of food. An apple and a string cheese. What would this count as container-wise? And so whoever gets it first, I send a little prize to. I have a bunch of, can I reach them? samples. And that's what I usually send out for prizes for people. Just kind of making it fun. Sometimes I do a, how many ounces of water can you drink today? Whoever has the most at the end of the day, I'm going to send a prize, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So week 2 is empowering them, asking them questions, having them go find resources, having them come up with the answers. This is building them. I want to build their confidence. I want them to love me and love my groups, but I also want them to know that they can do this, that they're capable of doing this on their own. Week 3 is PD. So it's not every day, here's a PD post, because that would be exhausting and kind of, repetitive. But I take the pulse of the group. Have I had a bunch of people be like, oh my God, I was so stressful today. I ate an entire dozen donuts and I felt awful and da, 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 da. And so other people say those same things, right? What has the pulse been? Or is everybody killing it? Everybody's nailing it and owning it and showing up and doing, a great job and upping their weights. Like, what's the pulse? What's the overall feel of this group? And I'll grab PD that relates to that. Talk about the compound effect a lot. I just kind of regurgitated that entire book to, 4 sentences, and letting them know that the totality of everything that you do, good, bad, indifferent, really does add up. And I love that share that he made about, when dinner's over, you can have a piece of chocolate cake or you can have a glass of water. What's going to serve you better? Like, one's immediate gratification, it's going to feel amazing, it's going to feel awesome. And the other one, you're not going to notice for like 10 years. Right. And so I've made like a little video kind of recapping that, and I'll share that. So I'm empowering them. I talk to them about changing their minds. The women that I work with struggle with their own weight. That's my story, and that's who I attract. I'm a size 8, maybe 10, and I always have been, and I pretty much always will be. And if I wasn't white knuckling my way through this life, I would be a size 40, 10. It's just not easy for me. So I try and share with them the tools that have served me. That's it. That's my Success Club recipe and plan. I run 1 group a month. I start it pretty early in the month. I run 1 coach sneak peek with my team. It's an hour-long event. And then I try and do 1 training something with my team that's about a week long every single month. And I try and stack those so I'm not doing everything all at once, so that I am focusing on a challenge group, and then I'm focusing on a training, and then it's a new month and I start on my new challenge group, things like that. It keeps me from feeling burnt out. I think that's all I've got. I just saw, do I ask for referrals or testimonials? I do. I have made I regularly share people's testimonials, which means I really don't have to ask very often anymore, because I think people feel excited about theirs being featured or shown or shared. So I get a lot of people that send me messages, and then of course I'm very clear. Do you mind if I use this? Is it okay if what picture would you like me to use? I can use your before and after, or I could just use a facial, like what are you comfortable with? And I was having a little bit of trouble. This is October, September, I was trying to hit that 20 for the extra elite points. So of course I barely hit 10. I mean, I got it, but it wasn't easy. So yes, I started messaging everyone. Do you have referrals before this group can start? We have to make sure all our spots are full. Do you have a friend that might like to do this? Yada, 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 yada. The reason I've kind of steered away, and if I'm being really honest, and now that I'm catching it come out of my mouth, it's not belief in abundance. Good one. This is a lesson for me right now. I haven't asked many people about, do they have friends? Because my hope is that they want to be a coach. And I'm afraid if they've already turned their friend on to me, that might be a roadblock. But that's me not believing in abundance and not believing it for them. I've literally already put that on them. I can't ask you to have a friend be in our group, because then you won't be a coach because you won't have enough people. See how that works? Like, when you just take a second to examine what you're doing, you can kind of open your eyes up to some more things. So I should probably do that more. All right.
I think we're always in the gut check stage, and that's important. Like, we're never going to have it all together all the time. And I love that you can be like, that's a good gut check for me. And then that's the way you grow. So, which is really, really awesome. Oh no, we were froze for a second. The question, was it the 21-day fixed app? Is that where you're tracking their containers on for data? That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, you are freaking hilarious. Like I was like fist bumping the air, I think, this entire time, just be like, yes, yes. Do you cold invite, warm invite? Do they come to you based off your social media?
Yeah, I have never sent an invitation in my life, a cold invitation. I view that invite as, I've heard someone else say this, maybe it was a National Wake Up Call, maybe it was somebody on Team Rockstar Fit, as invite, like 3 different ways. Like through your social media, you're always inviting in conversations you're having with people and making connections with people. So I've never just been like a, hey, have you heard I'm a Beachbody? You know, kind of thing. Would you like to try it? I've not ever done that. I do follow up with people that comment on my posts a lot or things like that. I say, you know, is there anything that I do that's interesting to you or that interests you? If it's the business opportunity or a challenge group, or I also teach fitness classes and have a boot camp. So I feel like I've got enough of an array that it gives a lot of people opportunities to have a conversation with me without it just being, oh, let me sell you this kind of thing.
And I don't think that's working anymore because of everyone doing a business now. And I think a lot of other businesses have ruined it for people who actually want to help people get started, because they're just sending links and adding people to groups and doing all these things. And I think people just are automatically having red flag. And so that is why it goes back to what you said. Your self-care is what's most important, and you showing up every day on your social media, not just saying, hey, I did the 21-day fix, but being like, man, during my workout, I had a revelation. I used to hate this. I used to spend an hour on the treadmill because all I wanted to do is eat and drink. And then now I work out because I want to feel good. And wow, like I like this, and this, right? And I think it's your story, not Beachbody's story, that you get to share and present to other people. And people are like, if she can do that, I can do that. She said she struggled. She said she hated that. She said that she was overweight. She said this, and this. And you're showing them exactly what you're doing, and people are going to be attracted by it's attraction marketing and curiosity marketing to a T. That is what she's doing, you guys. Amazing. So good. Any other questions? Seriously, I could listen to you all day.
You're funny. I tried my very best to curb my cursing, so I hope that
I love the cursing. Bring on the cursing. Okay. More cursing, please.
So funny, and I like never cuss. No, but it's entertaining. It's totally great.
It's entertaining.
You're so funny.
Oh, you're sweet. Thanks. It's fun. It's fun to get to talk about people that get it and know it and are interested in hearing. So thank you.